Hi, my name's Luke Doherty, and in 2019, I was a Curtin University Uniready student. A little bit about myself, I'm 32. I've been married for 4.5, 5 years now, and I have a 6-year-old son. I live in Perth in Western Australia, and I'm currently studying a Bachelor of Science, specializing in environmental science. My journey to get into university wasn't conventional. I grew up in Western Sydney. I was a terrible student. I didn't do well at school. I didn't get to, I didn't get what I needed from school. And that's not a criticism of my teachers. They were poorly resourced and they weren't ready for who and what I was. As a result, I dropped out of high school in the beginning of year 11, end of year 10. And that left me with not a lot of opportunities to move forward. I did what most of the people in my area did, which was look for a trade. To give you a bit of background, I grew up in Western Sydney. Socially disadvantaged was a term that got thrown around an awful lot, and a lot of my friends didn't get jobs. I was a butcher for a few years, and I realized while I was picking up skills, it wasn't for me, and it wasn't something I could see myself doing indefinitely. So I left that. I realized that my living environment and a lot of the relationships I had were not beneficial to me. So I packed a bag, picked my skateboard and my surfboard up and moved to Western Australia. I've been here for about 10 years now. About 2015, I'd met my wife to be, and I was growing as a person. I thought, no, it's time to go and do something and be someone. So I decided I wanted to be an environmental scientist. So I enrolled online in an online university. I did about 5 weeks of studying and then working full time at the same time. I started to burn out. My mental health took a pretty nasty turn. I was failing and I felt it. And my response to that, because I didn't know what else to do, I wasn't comfortable in that learning environment because I didn't feel supported and I didn't have what I needed to succeed. I did the only thing I thought I could do is I closed my laptop and I bolted. I carried that as a failure for another 3.5 years before a friend introduced me to the Uniready program. And in 2019, I was enrolled and starting to learn again. So it's when things started to take a real happy turn for me. I found myself in an environment where I was surrounded by people like me, people who were mature age students, who might have left high school not on the best of terms, who might not have gotten what they needed from high school. And by about week 5 of the first semester of the Uniready course, I was struggling again. And the difference this time was I had networks. I had tutors who cared, who wanted to get me through. And I also had friends who were in similar circumstances to me. So I could support them and they could support me. And the group that I ended up forming, we worked together through to the end of Uniready, and everyone passed. Everyone had admission options. Some took them and entered Curtin and are probably 18 months away from graduating now. And then there were others who went on to other vocations and other education pathways. The difference from Uniready was that I had skills now. So when I entered my undergrad, I started studying my Bachelor of Science. I got 4 weeks in and COVID hit, threw a spanner in the works, not just for me, but for everyone. The difference for me personally, though, was I had a 4-year-old child in school, and I had to make some pretty hard choices about whether to continue my education or whether to take a break and look after my family. I did the latter. It was a hard choice, and this time, rather than failing, it was stepping back, regathering, regrouping, and pushing forward again. So mid-year last year, 2020, I re-enrolled. I started my second semester before my first semester. So there were things that I needed to know from my first semester that I didn't have, that the tools that I learned through Uniready gave me the ability to compensate for that. I did really well in my second semester. I finished my first year, mid-year 2021, and then took a leave of absence because my course load didn't really line up with what I needed, prerequisites and all the rest. I'm currently working. I'm doing some work with an environmental consultancy. I'm genuinely living out my dream. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Uniready and the support I received for them. So I'd really like to thank them. And thank you for taking the time to hear my story.